subject of any IDAC investigations?
Correct.
Okay. And then insofar as the second aspect is concerned, you mentioned that there was a purpose for the meeting with the Minister Mkhunu and Advocate Johnson, either the 20th or the 21st of January. I'm not sure whether you actually specifically told us what the purpose was and who told you that that was the purpose for the meeting.
I wasn't specifically told what the purpose of the meeting was. From the manner in which the conversation was going between Mr. Padiachi, Mr. Perumal, and Advocate Johnson, I picked up that there was, firstly, that this was not the first meeting, but what Advocate Johnson eventually said was that the minister wants to really clean up crime intelligence and SAPS. So I thought that was the purpose.
Just so that we are not confused, on 239, because you're talking about the meeting on the 20th.
Correct.
The late night meeting.
The night meeting, correct.
I don't know how late, but let's say it's an evening meeting.
Correct.
Let me not say late night. This one is on the 23rd of January 2025.
Correct.
And it must have taken place in the morning because Advocate Johnson says just met the minister now.
Correct, at 13:44.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry. So at this page 239 and your evidence so far, there's then been at least 2 meetings between the minister and Ms. Johnson.
Correct.
According to this. Are you aware of any further meetings?
Not directly aware. I would just, in the meetings here, the minister said.
Okay.
But I didn't know how it was communicated or whether they were still meeting.
Okay.
And do you know who went with Advocate Johnson to this meeting?
The meeting of the 20th or the 21st?
This one, the 23rd.
The 23rd, no, I'm not aware of what that meeting was
You
about.
know about the 20th, who went with?
I was informed by Advocate Johnson that she was alone waiting for the minister with Mr. Nkabinde.
And with her protectors, of course.
Her protectors were asked to wait outside and her cell phones were handed to the protectors.
Okay. And then just staying on 239, when you start out the message to Advocate Johnson, you say, "Afternoon, Advocate Johnson. I spoke to tell us about the links and evidence regarding C and Nkab." When you explained the taskings that Advocate Johnson gave on the 22nd of January, I don't recall you saying whether she had asked you to do something specifically. So I just wanted to know, how do you get to the point where you're telling her that you spoke to tell us? Was it an instruction from her or?
Correct. The instruction, after the communication and the discussion about Mr. Nkabinde, which was primarily between Mr. Perumal, Mr. Sissoko, and Advocate Johnson. We were just party to the meeting. Advocate Johnson instructed me, because Advocate Shabalala was the prosecutor on those 2 matters that were discussed, and those matters were within the IDAC space and already in court. Advocate Johnson instructed me to contact Advocate Shabalala and find out what evidence was contained in those 2 dockets against Mr. Nkabinde and then report to her. And that is how I determined through Mr. Advocate Shabalala that Mr. Peter White had documentary evidence with regards to forensic analysis.
Okay. Then do you want to continue with the timeline insofar as the Cedric Nkabinde matter is concerned? So now we've dealt with the 23rd. For reference, if you then want to look at your affidavit, your April affidavit on 248, although this affidavit comes later, you do set out a comprehensive history of events that transpired.
In my affidavit,
if we go to 253, that's where you talk about the 23rd of January.
253. On the 23rd of January 2025, around 1300 hours, I contacted Shabalala. I advised him that the ID asked me to contact him and ask him, sorry, it should say ask, but it says as, him about the link between Nkabinde and his two cases. He advised me that in Blue Lights there was a comprehensive report compiled by White. However, he was told by Advocate Law and Colonel Rule Officer that that is not the angle of prosecution that they were pursuing, and nothing was done further about the report. I then contacted the ID via WhatsApp explaining above and requesting instructions regarding obtaining the report. I was asked by the ID to obtain the report. I then contacted Sisoko. I asked him to please assist. I do not want to contact White directly as he is a witness in a matter that I am allocated. On the 24th of January 2025, ID indicated via WhatsApp to me she wanted a progress report on Nkabinde.
Advocate Johnson, so you're saying that on the 24th, Advocate Johnson asks for feedback from you?
Correct.
Okay, and that we will find in at page 242. Maybe we start at 240, the top of 240. And just to give context on the date that we're talking about, you can see on 239 that at the foot of that page it says 24 January 2025. And at 240, she says there's a message from Advocate Johnson at 10:54. Do you want to start there?
Thank you.
Before you start there, at that foot of 239, I handed all dockets that came to me in December to Chief and Brian. What dockets are these?
The original dockets that were
Relating to
collected
Mr. Nkabinde?
No, this message was in relation to the fact that the dockets she had asked me to hand to her PA after they were photocopied, the Fadil Adams dockets.
Okay.
She then indicated to me that she handed all the dockets that came to me in December to Chief, being Mr. Perumal and Brian.
Okay, thank you.
At 10:54, Advocate Johnson sends me a WhatsApp saying, just want to know how far we are with the Nkabinde stuff. I reply, I will advise within the next 20 minutes. The report was going to be sent to Mr. Sisoko.
You can leave that last part. We'll get to that when we deal with the Adams matters. And so that is what you were referring to, that you had indicated she asked for an update and you responded to that.
Correct.
Then you can go back to your statement your affidavit at 253.
Thank you. I contacted Sisoko, however, he was in a meeting. I then contacted White directly. He explained at length the cell phone record, a payment of a large amount for clothing and a vehicle. I sent ID a text with this information, including the fact that White had a 5-page report on this, but was told to cease work and thus did nothing further. On the same day, Sisoko contacted me telephonically indicating that he was on his way to the office and wanted to see me. When I went to his office, I found Binang being investigated, Tamani Binang, and Shabalala being advocate, Senior State Advocate Tila Shabalala. The discussion was about the White's report. Shabalala indicated that a standalone prosecution can ensue, and Binang can start finalizing the investigation. Sisoko indicated that he did not want any of the IPID investigators to deal with the matter, and that a neutral IDAC investigator should pursue the investigation. I was then contacted by the ID's personal assistant, indicating that the ID was available for the meeting with Sisoko and myself. Perumal was already seated in ID's office when I arrived. The attendees at this meeting was the ID, Sissoko Perumal, and myself. Sissoko proceeded to explain to the ID and Perumal the links as per the charts provided by White. There was discussions about the investigation that needs to proceed. Perumal indicated that Belochin can continue with the investigation.
Can I just pause there and ask you to, as part of our timeline, if you can go to 242 which is the WhatsApps, page 242. Are you there?
I am.
At 242, it's part of a message that you sent to Advocate Johnson about the Nkabinde matter at the top at 12:59. You say there's also links on cell phone records between Nkab and James. Who's James? You don't have to say it if it's...
No, he's a well-known former general, or lieutenant general of SAPS. It is James Ramanjulam. Yeah. He just finished serving a 5-year sentence after a plea agreement between the IDAC and himself.
Okay. And you say, so there's records between Mr. Nkabinde and James, and we will need to obtain those records from Sunil as well.
Correct.
And this is all part of part of fact-finding, fact-gathering in respect of Mr. Nkabinde.
Correct, on the instructions of Advocate Johnson.
No investigation authorized as yet?
No, there was nothing.
Okay.
Where Mr. Chabalala says that a standalone prosecution can ensue, it's a standalone prosecution of Mr. Nkabinde.
Correct.
That he's talking about.
Correct.
And the prosecution would be for what, as you understood it here?
Based on what I had been told at that point, Mr. Nkabinde is linked to receiving a large sum of money for the purposes of clothing from a service provider that IPID was investigating.
Whilst he was still at IPID?
While he was still at IPID.
Okay.
And the other link where I speak about James Ramanjulam is that there is cell phone records between the accused and Mr. Nkabinde, and there was an investigation that was being dealt with by both DPCI and IPID with regards to that procurement irregularities, and both those matters are in court.
Okay, thank you.
Did the report also reveal that he received an OD and some cash paid for by this person that was being investigated by IPID?
Correct. The report did indicate about the Audi. It also spoke about how the Audi was collected and for what period it was used, and the cash. And the cash link was based on the withdrawal of the service provider and the cell phone tower, and the phone calls between those parties.
So at this point, has there been a referral or complaint to IDEC about Mr. Nkabinde?
No.
There isn't at this point.
There's nothing formal. It's just instructions from Advocate Johnson that we must gather the information that we have of criminality.
And it all comes after her meeting with the minister where she said Nkabinde gave her heebie-jeebies.
Correct. I do believe there's more to what transpired between the two of them. I'm not aware of it.
Okay, thank you.
Then just to continue with that 242, Advocate Johnson then responds at 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock. I'm shocked. He's the staff officer of the minister.
I'm shook.
I'm shook. He is the staff officer of the Min of Police. Can you what damage he can do with all the information, etc., he gets from the office from that office.
And then I'm interested in your, interested in your response at 1302. Read that and then explain to us.
Sure. It explains how the messages for the not canceling the task team were so easily conveyed, and consequences of canceling. The MP in Cape Town showed us the messages.
When you say not, you mean the notice for cancelling?
Yes, I think
No,
what I
sorry.
did was...
When you say not, you're referring to the notice for cancelling.
Correct.
Okay.
And with regards to this, I had in part 1 indicated that when we were in consultation on the 6th of January 2025 with Mr. Fadil Adams, he did show us messages allegedly from General Mkunazi indicating that they were going to arrest Minister Mkunu if the PKTT was closed. I also indicated that I wasn't sure if it was Mr. Nkabinde or the minister that had forwarded the messages.
Yes, because you said the messages, you weren't really interested in the messages.
Interested.
And Mr. Rapesu said that he couldn't really decipher what the message was saying because Mr. Adams was telling him what the message is saying while showing him the message.
Correct, that's how, because I didn't read the messages and Mr. Adams was talking over and explaining what the messages were saying. That's how I understood what the messages were about.
And that's what you mean when you say, and consequences of cancelling. In other words, what Mr. Adams had told you and Mr. Rapesu and Mr. Perumal is that Minister Mkunu is going to be arrested if the task team is cancelled.
Correct.
Okay. Do you want to then go back to your affidavit?
Correct. Thank you.
Before you do that, previously or today, did we get an explanation of what this affidavit that's at page 248, what is its purpose, under what circumstances? was
I
it
had
prepared?
asked the witness, Commissioner Baloy, and you will recall that she went and explained the affidavit, but not the purpose of it, and that's when I took her back to the history. So maybe you can just tell us why you prepared it.
Commissioner, Chair, on the 30th of January 2025, Advocate Johnson sent me messages indicating something bad had happened and I was going to be heartbroken. We will deal with them as I'm dealing with the chronology. And when I went to, she had wanted to see me, but I was on treatment at the time, so I was not in the office. And when I did return to the office, I went to, Advocate Johnson indicated through her PA that I must come and see her. And she said to me that she had received a call from Mr. Nkabinde, indicating that Mr. Rapesu had informed him that he was being investigated by IDAC, and that if something about if they want his bank records and all of that, he would provide it. But she didn't go into detail because she was speeding along to the point where Rapesu has now breached Section 41(6). He must be charged. At some point during the conversation, she told me that Perumal wanted him to be escorted out of the building with his bag, by the security. That was the line of the conversation. Later on, on the 26th of February, I am on vacation and I receive a phone call from Mr. Mbalo. Mr. Mbalo is a member of Mr. Perumal's investigative team. He indicates that the ID has instructed that I must do an affidavit on Mr. Rapesu's investigation. So because I was with people, I was with family, we were on vacation, I said to him, I will call him when I get back, because I didn't understand what was required and why, as a prosecutor, I was being asked to file an affidavit. So later on, somewhere in March, I call Mr. Mbalo. He explains that the ID instructed that I must do an affidavit for the internal investigation against Mr. Rapeso. So I asked, who's running the investigation? Where's the reference number for the investigation? You're asking me for an affidavit, but I don't even have, HR reference number must at least be provided to me. In any event, I was told she wants the affidavit, and that is the purpose of this affidavit. I must state that on the 30th, when I was being around the 30th, when I was being informed by Advocate Johnson about this, I did voice that I highly doubt it was Mr. Rapeso. And I explained to her that I had been present and taken notes in all the meetings that transpired about Nkabinde, or Mr. Nkabinde. And Mr. Nkabinde, or Mr. Rapeso's involvement in the Mr. Nkabinde thing ended after he gave us the transcripts of the trial on the 22nd of January, 2025. And that he was not party to any of the meetings, so could it not possibly be someone that was in our meetings? So, should I proceed?
Yes.
I found Penang in Shabalala. The discussion was that, oh, sorry, I read all of that already. I was then contacted by the ID's personal assistant indicating that the ID was available for the meeting with Sissoko myself. Perumal was already seated in the ID's office when I arrived. Attendees at the meeting were ID, Sissoko, Perumal, and myself. Sissoko provided the explanation to the ID and Perumal and the links as per the charts provided by White. There were discussions about the investigation that needed to proceed. Perumal indicated that Beluchin can continue with the investigations. Sissoko stated the sentiment he shared in the meeting as per paragraph 6.39. The ID agreed and stated that Padiachi would attend to the investigations. The meeting continued where Perumal indicated that a person called G. This initial is used when referring to Gininda, General, I think he's a General Gininda, but I know he's from cold cases, SAPS, was told or positioned to take the message to the top. I was unclear what the statement meant as it was in context of what we were discussing regarding Nkabinde. I then excused myself from the meeting. On the 30th of January 2025, Sissoko contacted me regarding the authorization documents for the Nkabinde matter. I sent the ID a WhatsApp asking if the authorization should be done in terms of which form of authorization.
Can we go to that WhatsApp at 245?
Sure. Afternoon, Advocate Johnson. Please advise, authorization for Nkab standalone, must it be done in as a section 2813 or 28.1?
Just to confirm, at this stage, there isn't a referral or a section 27 referral?
Correct.
Okay.
I must just explain that in the meeting that I've just spoken about, where Mr. White's report is being explained to Advocate Johnson, Mr. Perumal had indicated that because there were already authorizations for those two matters, they can just proceed in terms of 28.
Without a section 27 referral. And so now you're asking Advocate Johnson to advise you insofar as that is concerned?
Because Mr. Sissoko is saying, he had called and he had asked, has it been done? And I said, no, I haven't received any instructions as to what it's supposed to be. And then I said to him, I'll speak to the ID. But by then, I'm aware started where they left off with the investigation on that cell phone.
Just to clear my understanding, the authorization for the two other matters that Mr. Perumal speaks of, what are those matters, the two matters? In fact, what is the authorization in respect of those two? I guess what I'm trying to clarify for myself is how Nkabinde fits into those authorizations to a point where it follows naturally out of those two others. So you would have to say the two matters are matters such and such and such and such, and then hopefully we see the link that makes it a valid response to say we already have authorization in the other two matters. We don't need one specific for Nkabinde.
Can I answer it in this way, rather? I spoke earlier about the fact that certain matters of Mr. Perumal that were placed on the court roll while Advocate Johnson was head of office do not have authorizations. That is one of those matters. The other matter is a matter where it was referred to the ID when Advocate Cranier was there. There is a constructive 2813, and it is based on testimony at the Zondo Commission.
It implicates Mr. Nkabinde.
As far as I understood from the report, yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then at 245, Advocate Johnson's response to your inquiry about the authorization.
We'll check. We need to talk. Something terrible has happened. Whatever you do, don't discuss anything on Nkab with Mansa. When you hear what I have to say, your heart will break. It's initially breaker, and then there's a break underneath. This was at 13:55. I reply, I won't. We have been keeping that between Mr. S, myself, and Dylan. Dylan being Mr. Perumal, Mr. S being Mr. Sissoko. She replies, don't talk to Mr. S either. I have to figure some things out. It's bad. I reply, I won't. I'm worried now.
And so then you meet with Advocate Johnson.
Correct.
And Mansa referred to here is Mr. Rapesu.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And when do you meet with her? Was it on the third?
I don't have my calendar with me, but it would have been not more than a day or two later.
Okay. May proceed. You want to then look at your affidavit?
Yeah, I just want to, because the timeline is in here, as poorly drafted as this affidavit is, it is here.
At 254, you speak about the 30th, and then on, still on 254, 6.46, on the 31st of January. So you would have
Yes,
met
so it
her
would
the
have been
very
the
next
next
day.
day.
And just tell us what happens there. You don't have to read the affidavit.
Advocate Johnson informs me that on the day before, on the 30th, that Mr. Perumal and Mr. Padiachi were in her office. And she explained that on the evening of the 29th, she had been receiving calls from Mr. Nkabinde. She was unable to answer them. She had indicated to me that she was at the temple, and so she couldn't answer the calls. She did send a text to him indicating she can't talk, he must text. And then on the 30th, in the presence of Mr. Perumal and Mr. Nkabinde, Mr. Perumal and Mr. Padiachi, Mr. Nkabinde called, and she answered, and she put him on speaker. And that he had informed her that he was informed by Mansa Rapesu that there was an investigation into him at IDAC, and that she must be careful as Mr. Sissoko uses Rapesu and Bina. This is what Advocate Johnson is telling me Mr. Nkabinde told her.
And Mr. Nkabinde and Mr. Sissoko have a history from IPID.
I later found out, yes, they did. In fact, I found out the history while watching ad hoc committee.
Oh, okay. And so when she said